the land of fjords, Vikings, and apparently polar bears roaming the streets. If you've ever thought about Norway, chances are you've heard some wild misconceptions, perhaps. Today, we're going to be reacting to some of these common misconceptions that tourists might have before they come to Norway. Some misconceptions that I had, maybe, you ask? Let's see. That it was cold here all the time. That everybody skis everywhere. That everyone has a lot of money. Yeah, and that everyone owned a pet moose. Right, let's get into the video.
People traveling to Norway sometimes have misconceptions about the country, which leads to big disappointment when they are finally here. We are going to explain 14 of these. Number 1. Allmannretten counts for motorhome. One of the most common misconceptions tourists have is that Allmannretten, the everybody law, counts also for vehicles, especially motorhomes.
Allmannretten is Allmansretten, or I thought there was an S in there, but maybe there's not. Basically, it's that you have the right to be outside. Every person has the right to be outside and in nature. If you own land, anyone can hike on it, camp on it, whatever it may be, but you have to be within, I've seen 300 meters from homes or structures or whatever. But basically, Allmansretten is that everyone has a right to nature.
The Allmannrett governs what can be done in nature, like where it is allowed to camp. It was established in a time where it took very long to cross the country, and one was not sure to find an accommodation. The law only applies when traveling by foot and with a tent. Parking your motorhome at any spot and staying for the night is not implicitly allowed, it's just tolerated. And since a few funny people abuse this tolerance, interdiction signs have popped up around most popular places. As the problem gets worse every year, expect new legislation within the next few years.
I would almost think that it is common sense that you can't park your motorhome anywhere you want. I mean, it's like your car. You can't just drive into nature and park your car. I don't know. Weird. Seems like common sense to me.
Number 2. Norway is very expensive. You want to visit a certain destination and suddenly realize that accommodations cost 3,000, 4,000 Norwegian kroner or more per night. The trick is not to stay at that place but 50 kilometers away. Then the prices will drop very quickly and you will pay half or even a third of that price. But you will have to travel a bit more.
I mean, I don't know the truth to it, but it sounds like good advice. And Norway's public transportation is really good. So I'm sure you can find a bus or a train or wherever or whatever to wherever you want to go.
And keep away from anything alcohol related if you are on a budget. This is very expensive because it is heavily taxed. Number 3, there is always another cheaper company. Compared to other countries, there is usually not enough market to provide a certain service in an area, so it ends up that there is only one company offering that service in that area. Norway is very advanced when it comes to online presence. If it doesn't come up, it doesn't exist. Number 4, there is a period with guaranteed sunshine. People living in countries with regular weather patterns cannot imagine how irregular the weather is from year to year. One year July can be mostly sunny and warm, while the year after it's raining all the time and it's cold.
That happened to me. The first year that we moved here in the summer, got here in June, and it was like the perfect summer. Literally the perfect weather, the perfect temperatures. It was sunny all the time, and I got used to that. And I thought that that's how Norwegian summers were. And then it was last summer that there was only maybe 1 week, maybe 2 weeks during the summer where the weather was sunny and warm and you could actually sit outside and enjoy it. But the rest of the time it was raining or it was cold, and yeah. So that was kind of a misconception, I guess.
Number 5, tourist attractions are open all year round. For a couple of years, people are starting to come outside the classic tourist season from June to September for summer and February to April for winter season. Then they wonder why many tourist attractions are closed down when they are coming. Previously, no one came. So companies shut down their operation due to a lack of customers. But it will change if more people come outside of the season.
I mean, that makes sense, right?
On the other hand, people come to Norway because of its nature. And nature will dictate if you can see a thing or not. Number 6. The mountains trail are secured. Some of the most well-known attractions are nature attractions which usually require...
Hey, that's from one of the other videos I just watched. Oh, what was it called? Can't remember, I'll put the name here, but seems very scary. A lot of really steep cliff edges.
Require some hiking to get there. Tourists from certain countries assume then that the path there has been totally secured, so nothing can happen.
That is actually something that I did notice when I came here, is how nature is kind of just, it's free roaming, right? It has to do with that Allemansretten probably. But yeah, you go on a trail, you go hiking, like it's going to be very, very natural landscape, and there's not going to be anything there to... Nature is nature. Like, Norway is not going to disturb it.
They are then shocked to see that there is no railing between them and a drop of several hundreds of meters. As you are free to roam nature in Norway, you also need to prepare for the risks of nature and deal with them, which also means turning around and going back when you deem it too dangerous. One point in the Norwegian mountain rules says,
Det er ingen skam å snu.
there is no shame in turning around. Number 7. It's safe to travel alone in Norway. If you mean criminality, then yes it is. But if you go out in nature, it might not.
I mean, that makes sense. I feel like that's also kind of common sense, but I mean, I guess some tourists maybe don't think about things like that. But I would say that I would walk around in Oslo alone at night. Like, I would walk from a restaurant to my house, and I feel fine. You have your head on a swivel, of course, because anything can happen, but I would feel relatively safe walking in the city alone. In nature, I would never go alone. One, that seems a little bit boring, and because it can be dangerous, right?
So traveling alone is not always safe.
Yeah.
Number 8. You can easily travel between tourist hotspots. Some travelers soon realize that getting from one tourist destination to another might take very long when done by public transport. For example, traveling from Flom to Geiranger by public transport takes around 16 hours because you have to wait very long between connections. Number 9. I need to book everything long in advance. You don't need to book an entry in museums, you just go to the desk and buy a ticket. For some activities, you need to book a couple of days in advance. For accommodation, it depends where and when you go. On our latest trip, we went outside the main season and stayed outside the hotspots, and we never booked anything. Just walked into a hotel or camping and asked if they had something for us. Worked 12 out of 13 times.
I've heard that you do have to book in advance. I guess it is mostly just for the high tourist spots, but my experience is that you do book, and you should book, especially when it comes to hotels and restaurants, because dinner reservations in some of these really popular destinations can be very hard to get.
Number 10. All worldwide services are also available in Norway. With the reach of certain tech giants, you would assume they are also in Norway, but that's not the case. For example, we don't have Amazon. We have other online shops, but not one big one which offers everything.
You can shop on Amazon. It's just going to take weeks and weeks and weeks for it to get here.
Also, Uber is not the same as in the US. To be an Uber driver, you need to have a taxi license. Also, for the payment system, Norway has its own thing called VIPs, but you can only use...
Oh yeah, they don't have Uber. That is something that I do miss, is Uber, and being able to take an Uber around the city. That would be nice, because taxis are rather expensive. I mean, I'm sure Uber would be no different if it was here. But yeah, I do miss an Uber. I understand it's for public safety, right? Maybe? Because it's not regulated? Correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me why Uber is not in Norway.
Number 11. I can do one of the famous hikes every day. Some people want to do all the famous hikes in Norway, especially in a limited time frame. That means one every day, and because most hikes are not close to each other, quite a lot of driving every day, which means
That one was in that video too. Trolltunga, I think, is what that one was called. That looks terrifying and very small. That one person takes up a lot of space. If there was lots of people on that, that would be very scary.
that the hiking has to be done at a quite high pace. This can be done for a day or two, but then you should take it easy on day number 3.
That's nice advice, I guess. I don't know why that's a thing, but I guess it's nice to advise people to do.
Number 12. Travel influencers will show you the hidden gems. So you clicked on a video which is titled 10 Hidden Gems of Norway by your favorite travel influencer. Trust us, they are not. We checked countless of these videos and none contained hidden gems. They might contain lesser known tourist sites, but definitely no hidden gems only known to the locals.
So they did their research. That's interesting.
Here at Explore Norway, we do show them. We live in Norway, so we have all the time we need to visit them. We speak the language and thus can communicate with the locals to find them. And we don't have FOMO, as we have already seen all the famous places.
That's pretty funny. That's a good joke.
Number 13. I need polar expedition clothing to visit Norway in winter. Some people coming to Norway think it's extremely cold like northern Canada and you need polar expedition gear. Luckily, Norway is kept warm by the Gulf Stream and thus rarely cold. In addition, it's only really cold when there's sunshine and no wind.
I mean, I guess that's true in a sense that if you're here during the winter, the coldest days are going to be when the sun is out. That's because it's so cold that the weather is stable, I guess. But I mean, in the winter, if you're walking around and it's, raining or snowing or there's ice all over the place, like it is very cold. Don't get me wrong. You need good winter clothes if you're going to come visit Norway in the winter. You need a good coat. You need a lot of wool. You need good waterproof shoes, waterproof socks. Like, you need good stuff.
We plan to make a video about what people living in Norway wear during winter. And if you are watching this video in the future, check if it hasn't already been made.
Maybe I should watch that one. Let me know if you want to see me react to that one. That one could be interesting.
Number 14. Norwegians care a lot about their Viking heritage. Some visitors think that there are Viking activities and attractions around every corner, because Norwegians like to cultivate their Viking heritage. While these exist, they are not very common. Norwegians care about Vikings as much as Middle Europeans care about the Romans or medieval knights, as this confuses mostly Americans, which care a lot about their heritage and their history. So how can we differentiate a genuine Viking attraction from a tourist trap? The real ones are based on major archaeological findings, like Lofoter in Lofoten or Sagastad in Nordfjordeid. The second thing is to see what languages are written and spoken. If it's primarily English, then it's for tourists, and most likely a tourist trap. If Norwegian is the first language, then it's for the locals and probably genuine.
I guess that's good advice, but I mean, if you're a tourist and you're wanting to see Viking stuff, then I would go to the high tourist spots because they probably have decent information on Vikings and they probably have fun little shows or like some of those videos where people making tools and all of these things. Like, you're probably going to get to see some interesting stuff, in my opinion. All right, there you have it. Misconceptions that tourists have when coming to Norway. Let me know if these are true. Let me know if you have any misconceptions before coming to Norway, or if you're a Norwegian, maybe if you have some advice that some people should know before they come to Norway. Comment it down below. Let's talk in the comments. Bye.